Hi there! This morning we're at the start of the Sheffield and Tinsley Canal, where it joins the River Don behind me. We're about 5 miles from Sheffield, and I plan to explore the full length of the canal all the way back to Sheffield. Now there's such a lot to see, gonna split the video over 3 separate parts. The first part will be an introduction, and we'll cover Tinsley Flight, a series of 12 locks which we can walk. The second section is level canal for about 3 miles. So we're going to kayak that should be interesting. And then the third section, there'll just be about half a mile of paddling, and then we'll enter Victoria Quays in the centre of Sheffield, and I'll show you around that area. I'm just gonna explain a few reasons why I'm doing this video. So the reasons I'm making this video. Well, the Sheffield and Tinsley Canal was opened 22nd of February 1819. We're now in March 2019. So the canal has just celebrated its 200-year anniversary. The other reason, well, you could probably tell from my voice. Now, I wouldn't normally talk about medical things, but a week ago I had to have half my thyroid gland removed. You'll see I've got a scar across there, which I can't exactly hide, apart from wearing a scarf all summer. And the other thing, it's affected my voice. That's bruising to the nerves, to the vocal cords. But I'm sure in a few weeks it will sort itself out. Now, I can't just sit around and do nothing. I'd been at home a few days and I was bored stiff, so I had to get out. I knew this was coming up, so I tried to video some of the kayaking before, and then I thought I could add the audio and the walking bits after. It did not go to plan. Last week I was sat in my kayak, just about to start filming. My telephone goes. It's Northern General Hospital. Can you come in tomorrow morning at 7 o'clock? We've got a cancellation. My operation shouldn't have been for about a couple of weeks. So I said yes. Didn't have time to worry about anything. I was in at 7 o'clock. 11 o'clock I was sat in the recovery lounge with a cup of tea. Everything seemed to have gone well. Overnight in hospital, and I was back home the next day, and I felt fine. So I thought I'll get on, and I can get on with making this series of videos. If you leave any comments, leave them about the canal and the walk and the kayaking, not about my thyroid gland. I'm happy not to talk about medical stuff. So what we're going to do with this first bit, like I said, we're going to wander along up the Tinsley Fight, a series of 12 locks. So let's get on with the walk. Behind me is the River Don. Now boats could navigate from here down the Don to the Humber and then out into the North Sea and all over Europe. But they could not get up from here, up the Don to Sheffield, because it was too shallow and there was 5 weirs on the river. So Sheffield was landlocked. Now in 1697 it was proposed to build the Sheffield and Tinsley Canal. It didn't happen that easy. There was a lot of objection, and it would be 100 years or more before Sheffield got its canal. I'll tell you more as we walk up the canal. As mentioned, the first idea of building a canal into Sheffield was first proposed in 1697. But along the Don, the River Don, there was a lot of industry and mills owned by the powerful Dukes of Norfolk, and those mills relied on water power for their source of power. The Dukes of Norfolk monopolised the coal trade as well in Sheffield, and they knew that if a canal was built, it would open up the reserves of the coal in South Yorkshire to be taken into Sheffield. So for over 100 years, successive Dukes of Norfolk opposed any bill to build a canal so as to preserve their monopoly. Now in 1815 they finally gave way, and 4 years later the canal was opened, and Sheffield and its industry was then linked to the North Sea and the markets of Europe. That's looking down where we've just walked. You can see there is a series of small reservoirs formed where the locks are, so as to keep a plentiful supply of water for operation of the locks. And then if we look over here, we've got lock number 10. As we make our way up the Tinsley Flight. You can probably hear the heavy drone of traffic ahead. It's our first major bridge. It's the Tinsley Viaduct that carries the M1 motorway as it skirts between Sheffield and Rotherham. So this is Tinsley Viaduct carrying the M1 motorway. It was built in the 1960s of box girder construction, and it always had men working on it, or one lane was shut. Hopefully they might have got it sorted now. joint the canal and the River Don part and made their own separate journeys into Sheffield. Now this building on the right is the old pump house. It was used for pumping water out the River Don into the canal to maintain the water levels. Like with any urban building, you're gonna find graffiti. Some of it pure vandalism, but some of it is quite artful. Keep Tinsley Canal clean, nothing wrong with that. And enjoy your walk. Both a nice set of murals. Another bridge. This is Sheffield Road Bridge. It was actually the main turnpike road out of Sheffield. The bridge itself was rebuilt in 1948. Looks like a steel and concrete construction. Ahead, just through the bridge, you can see what is Lock 9, and I can hear the noise of some mechanical works going on. We'll go and have a look. So this is where the noise was coming from. Using a pile driver to put metal sheets down to reinforce the canal bank side against this lock. Interesting bit of machinery. Although, certainly a bit noisy. So that's looking down on lock number 9. We just swing the camera around. Now if you see that electricity pylon up there, carries 132,000 volts. When I was at work as an electrical power engineer, I remember climbing right to the top of it, and you got a great view looking down onto the M1 motorway. Yet another bridge. Now that is actually locks 8 and 7. They were, due to some diversion works, they combined 7 and 8 locks and made one big lock. So we're just approaching lock number 6 here. We're about halfway of the Tinsley flight of 12 locks. Looks pretty deep, that. This is lock number 5. I've got a story to tell you about this one. Come with me over here. I just wanted to show you this commemorative stone adjacent to lock number 5. Now in December 1940, Sheffield was hit by 2 massive air raids. The first one on December the 12th, 260 German aircraft. They were aiming at the steelworks, but something went wrong. They missed the steelworks and dropped the bombs on Sheffield's town centre and its suburbs. They literally flattened the town centre. There was talk that they mistook the moor, which is the main road through Sheffield, for Attercliffe Road through the steelworks. Anyway, they literally destroyed the town centre. Realising they'd not hit the steelworks, they came back on December the 15th. This time they did hit the steelworks and did a massive amount of damage. They also hit lock number 5 and totally destroyed it. So this plaque is to commemorate the men that worked through the difficult conditions to keep the Sheffield and Tinsley Canal open. I know it's not too easy to read. A new bit of perspex won't go amiss, I don't think. Now in 1940, when these air raids took place, both my parents were living in Sheffield and they lived through the air raids. Just after that, my dad joined the RAF as a radio mechanic, so like your ground crew. He worked on Spitfires, Hurricanes, the American P-51 Mustang and the P-40 Kitty Hawks in the desert, Sicily and Italy. He was only 18, I think, when he joined up. My mum, who was 16, she later joined the Women's Land Army and worked at various farms in Derbyshire. And my granddad, not to be outdone, he'd already fought in the First World War. He joined the Sheffield Home Guard. So I think I can say my family did their bit in the Second World War. These stones are all from the lock 7 and 8, which they rebuilt, as I mentioned earlier. Gonna make our way up and have a look at lock 5 now. We're on lot 4 now. Just returning to the Second World War. It was once quoted that there is half a square mile of land in Sheffield that is more important to the production of munitions for the war effort than anywhere else in Great Britain. Just looking down on lock number 3. So we're nearly at the top of the Tinsley flight. That's Tinsley Marina, which we're going to walk past now. We've completed the Tinsley flight of 12 locks. We're at lock 1 now, and from here into Sheffield there is level water all the way. Behind me is Tinsley Marina. It's got a lot of barges moored there. I must admit, whenever I walk past I think, I will mind a barge, and then you look at the price of them. Wow. Now, barges, the traditional craft there, it was actually a Yorkshire keel that was used on canals like this. The difference being a Yorkshire keel was 61 foot 6 inches long, 15 foot 3 inch beam, and was power came from 2 sails. They were also horse drawn as well, obviously for getting under bridges and when there was no wind. I think from 1920 on they were equipped with motors. So what we're going to do from here, we're going to walk another half a mile of this level section of canal. It's a pleasant walk, it's very quiet, and the canal is quite wide at this point. So I'll see you on the towpath. Greenland Road now, and that's as far as we're going today. That sort of completes part one of this journey down Sheffield and Tinsley Canal. Like I said, from here into Sheffield is a level stretch of water. So in part two, we're not walking, we're gonna kayak it. A little bit more exciting. It is only March and the water is probably freezing. No problem, no problem. So I'll say bye now. Apologise for my croaky voice, and I'll see you probably out in a couple of weeks on part two. See you then. Bye.